his new memoir is called Class Clown, Dave Barry. And he's a Democratic strategist and CNN political contributor, Paul Begala, and the Republican congressman from the 38th in Texas, Wesley Hunt. Okay. For the panel, what is the panel's reaction to Arnold Schwarzenegger saying that immigrants should behave like guests? Well, they're truncating that a little, but that is basically what he said. And he is, of course, an immigrant himself. He came here with nothing but a loincloth and a jar of... and a jar of protein powder, and look how far he got. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
I completely agree.
Okay, good.
And someone should tell Elon Musk. This country took Mr. Musk in. We gave him freedom. We gave him an opportunity. We gave him $465 million of a loan under Barack Obama. Okay. Which, by the way, he paid back early. I give him credit for that. But we made him the richest man in the world, and all he does is dump on America. So he ought to be a pretty good guest, too. I don't like Mr. Musk.
I think Schwarzenegger should learn to speak English.
Do it now. Get down.
If he wants to stay, I mean.
Okay. This is for you, Dave. What do you make of the Californians who are moving to Florida? There is
And Texas.
And Texas, yes.
My neighborhood, I have Californians moving in. We have lots of people coming. Florida, everyone makes fun of Florida. You know, Florida's got a bad reputation. But I mean, think about it. There's 23 million people in Florida, and is it fair to judge 23 million people because of the behavior of 21 million people? But they are lured. They come for the culture, by which I mean we have no state income tax, and they like that. They like that a lot.
That's what I mean. He's not a humorist. He's a comic. He's funny. You know, there's a difference between a humorist and LOL. Okay. For Wesley, what was behind the rightward shift of black men toward Trump in the last election?
I think I touched on that a little bit. I think whenever you have a candidate like Kamala Harris that clearly was not the choice of the Democrat Party, when she got shoehorned into that space, and then you tried to roll out Megan Thee Stallion and Lil Jon the East Side Boys, and everybody was trying to say, hey, black men, let's vote for this now. I mean, it just really didn't work.
Well, most of them still did.
Well, one in three black men in the state of Texas voted for President Trump.
Okay, well, that's men and in the state.
Well, I'm being very specific here because it does matter. We are seeing a seismic shift, and that's the most vote, the highest vote that we got in the Republican Party in the history.
No doubt about it. Trump did better with minorities across the board each time he ran, including the time he lost.
What's your thought? You can absolutely talk about that next.
Oh, come on. But, you know, he does want to, like, take Trump is putting the Robert E. Lee name back on buildings. I mean, are you down with that?
So when I was at West Point, I actually lived in Robert E. Lee Barracks when I was there. And as I said...
Robert E. Lee went to West Point.
Yes, he did. That's why the barracks is named after him. And so my brother, sister, and I are matriculated through West Point. We all graduated. And I'll never forget walking under the threshold of Robert E. Lee Barracks and think to myself, damn, this is one hell of a country. Because only in America can someone like me walk into a building named after a Confederate general and then be a successful West Point graduate. If we start changing the names on buildings, then every single building would be named Jesus Christ based on perfection. Let's talk about where we have come from. Well, maybe not to you, but to us. Maybe not to you, but to us.
A lot of them, some of them would be Moses.
Depending on where you're at. I bring that up because I want to talk about the progress, and the idea of us changing names on buildings actually doesn't harken us back to times where they weren't as good.
And statues,
and how
too?
can we not? Oh, my wife is, I've been black my whole life.
Yes.
So far, still. My wife is white, and we have 3 biracial children, and I cannot wait to show them and take them to places that wasn't always the case. There was a time when your mother and daddy could not be married. My children are going to have the opportunity to be second lining down in New Orleans, and then my wife is from Iowa. They'll be on the farm with their grandfather in Iowa. That is America, and I do not want to take down these statues and change the names of these buildings because they're a reminder of what was, and if we don't remember it, we are doomed to repeat it.
So there's a reason for it, I see. What do you think of Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran? You know, I see we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity, and a second good step would be we got to do something about The View. I really believe that. I mean, could you just
It's huge in Iran, though.
Bill, you know, when I
mention The View in Iran, all with the same head cover. You can't even tell which one is which.
My district in the great state of Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. And as I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Rosedown plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. That's the progress, because, like, a lot of white people had to vote for me. A lot.
So wait,
I don't even ever want to hear Whoopi Goldberg's conversation about how it's worse to be black in America right now. That's a bit far. And my father, who's 75 years old, he was a man that was in the French quarters that had to go get a sandwich to the back door of the building. And his son is now a United States congressman in a white majority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America. That's America. So let's celebrate that.
Yes. And one of the ways we celebrate it is Juneteenth. That's a Texas holiday. It began in Texas in Galveston.
Galveston,
General
right?
Granger
Galveston,
came
Texas.
and read the order number 3 that finally abolished slavery months after the war, because the war took a time to get to Galveston. We celebrated that when I was a kid in Texas, but it becomes national a year or two ago, and Donald Trump doesn't want to celebrate that. To me, it's exactly what you're talking about.
So,
is that 600,000 people died so that we wouldn't enslave people anymore, and the fact that freedom won is a good thing, and we should honor that. That's what Juneteenth's about. And I don't know why President Trump doesn't want to honor that.
So I don't want it. I don't want Black History Month. I don't want all these days for it to make everybody feel special. I'm an 80s baby. Everybody's too sensitive anyway. We're all Americans anyway. This holiday
That's what Morgan Freeman said.
Morgan Freeman,
said,
I can't agree more with him.
Yeah, he said that to Mike Wallace. He said, you know, I'm an American. Do you want to be called a Jew American, Mike?
No.
White people celebrate Juneteenth, too, and non-Italians celebrate Columbus Day. And
I'm all for any holiday.
I'm half Irish. Do I get half the day off on St. Patrick's Day?
But a lot of
I get half drunk?
Everybody
gets drunk on St. Patrick's Day. That's a good point.
Did you have a question for the congressman there?
No, are you telling me you're black?
Yes.
You don't see color, right there?
We don't see color.
All right, one more. This is for you, Dave. What do you make of the Lakers selling for a record $10 billion, the highest price ever paid for a pro sports team? Oh my God.
$10 billion.
Yes, I mean, it's amazing. I bought into the Mets in 2011.
So you're losing
You
money
own
now.
part of the Mets?
I did for 10 years.
Wow.
The Mets sold 40% of the team, not all to me, to a select group of minority investors. And at the time, they were
But you're black too?
Yes.
Don't answer that.
And like, I was amazed that I mean, it took like all the pennies I had saved my whole life, but I was amazed, how can I do this? This must be so many richer people in New York. I said, sports teams are always going to go up, especially the one in New York. The Mets at the time, they were in the shitter, so they were undervalued at $750 million. And they sold, and they had sold out all I don't own the team, part of the team anymore, because they sold a few years ago to a billionaire, for $2.4 billion. So I made a good profit off that. But that was only a few years ago. And this is New York. This is New York. That's the Hicks sports franchise. 4 times that for the Lakers, $10 billion. I don't know what the question is?
No, I just think
It blows my mind.
Well, the reason is I just wanted to say this is the day after Juneteenth. I just really want to thank God that black people were allowed to play in sports, because otherwise it wouldn't be valued nearly that much. Bill, let's be honest. If the NBA was all white, it wouldn't be
outside of the NBA, I'll tell you that right now.
It would be a good look.
I know. I was sitting at a Laker game with, I won't say who, because I'll say I'm name dropping, but a big black.
Please, go ahead.
No. And I was saying, boy, Bill Russell, what a great player. And he said, yeah, he played against a lot of white guys. All right, we're off for a summer month. Just 1 month. We'll be back August 1st. Thank you very much.